Okay, we on? Okay, thanks for stopping. What's your name?
Zara.
Zara. I'm Mark. Zara, thank you. Can we have your permission to film?
Yes.
Where are you off to today? A bit of shopping?
Lunch and drinks.
Okay. So, Zara, here's the question. Are you open-minded?
I'd like to think so, yes.
What do you think happens to you, Zara, after you die?
That's the ultimate question, isn't it? I'm not too sure. I don't believe in God, but I like to think that something would happen, like there's some kind of afterlife. But then my partner thinks that we're like Steve Jobs, like as soon as you switch us off, we just go to nothing. But I've never passed out and I've never been unconscious, so I can't grasp that concept of just like switching off your mind. So I would like to think that something happens, but I'm not too sure what.
So if there's a heaven, just if, are you good enough to get through?
100%.
You're a good person, yeah?
I like to think so.
So what we're going to move on to now is called the good person test, funnily enough. And we're going to come at it from a different angle, because you said you're open-minded. Okay, so I'm coming at it from the angle of the Bible, and the Bible gives us an interesting take on it. Okay, so the Bible says this, Sarah. It said it's appointed once for you to die, and then comes the judgment. So think court case. Birmingham Crown Court. Okay, so I'm going to put you on the dock. I'm going to cross-examine you based off 4 of the 10 commandments to see how good you are. Before we start, I failed, all right? So I'm not in any moral judgment. Okay, Sarah, have you ever told a lie?
Yes.
Me too. What do you call somebody who tells a lie?
A liar.
Have you ever stolen anything, no matter how small it was, from when you were down there?
Yeah, I stole the 2 people we've gone before and I was literally devastated. I thought I was going to get caught by the police. Yeah.
Good confession for camera.
Sorry.
Not to be used in a court of law there. Me too, I've stolen big things. Here's the one that got me. Have you ever used God's name as a swear word, like OMG? Or
Yes, I have.
do you use your mother's name as a swear word?
No.
It would dishonour your mother, wouldn't it?
It just doesn't fit in the context. I think I only use the phrase due to it just being acceptable in society, like a part of the English language. It doesn't mean anything. Personally, when I say it, it's not blasphemy, it's just a saying, I suppose.
Kind of rolls off the tongue pretty easy. It's a compliment. All right, one more. Have you ever murdered anybody?
No.
One of the commandments.
I'm not in jail.
So Jesus raised the bar high. He said if you're angry at anybody in your heart, he sees it as murder because it starts in the heart. So have you ever really been really angry at somebody?
Yeah, I suppose so, yeah. I haven't really had much, like, I don't know, trauma or anything in my life where I've been so angry I want to kill someone, but obviously been angry at people, of course.
So what he was pointing to was the intention of the heart, how wicked the heart can be. Like adultery, he says if you look at a woman or look at a guy with lust, he sees it as adultery of the heart because it starts in the heart first, which makes sense kind of thing. So if, Zara, God was to judge you by that standard on your court case, if it's true, how are you going to do? Innocent or guilty?
I'll be going to hell.
Would that concern you if it was true?
I would think it would be very unfair, and I think it would be quite unjust but then if that's the rules, then that's the rules, isn't it? You know.
It is pretty black and white, and the Bible says that we're without excuse because we've got a conscience. You know, how would you describe your conscience?
I think my conscience is quite good. In terms of how I live and how I act. Like I'm a vegetarian, I don't eat meat, but I'm not completely vegan, for example.
So you're a sinner, you're a backsliding vegan.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not completely vegan, so I suppose some people would look at that as morally wrong, but, and, you know, I've never been in trouble, never been arrested, like, never caused a fight, never committed adultery, so I think to then go to heaven for just having sinister thoughts perhaps is a bit unjust.
And that's what the Bible puts us all in the same position here, that we've all broken those laws, whether in deed or thoughts. So God judges on the thought life as well. He's so holy, the Bible says, you know. So here's the solution now. And you may not have heard this before, and it's the good news, all right. So I've used the hard news, like a doctor would explain what the disease is to the person and then give them the cure, you know, and you snatch it out of my hand. So the Bible says all have sinned and fallen short of the standard, the 10 Commandments, what the judge is going to judge us by. But here's the good news. If you were in Birmingham Crown Court for breaking 4 or 5, say 10 of the laws. And the judge says, Zara, all the evidence is here. I'm going to put a £1 million fine on you, or I'm going to send you to prison for life. You can't pay the fine, but somebody comes into the courtroom and says, Judge, hold on. I love Zara so much. It's cost me everything, but I'm going to pay a fine. So the judge looks at you, say, case dismissed, you're free to go. How would you feel?
Overwhelmed and happy, of course.
So this is the legal transaction that the Bible says has taken place for you 2,000 years ago, and I'm sure you know this in a roundabout way, what God's done for you according to the Bible. Any idea?
Given us life.
Yes, that's good. No, that's good. Let me quickly unpack it for you. 2,000 years ago, when Jesus was being whipped and crucified, he was legally paying your courtroom fine based on the laws that you and me have broken, his laws, which are written on our heart. He took your punishment on himself. He died, but he rose again from the dead because he never sinned once. Death couldn't legally hold him down because this was God, born of a virgin, clothed in flesh, loved you so much that he took all that punishment so that your court case can be dismissed, not based on what we do, but based alone on what he's done. How does that sound?
That sounds great.
It's not about religion, it's about relationship. Like, I'm married to my wife Daisy, the two become one, you know. She talks to me, I talk to her. There's a relationship, and this is what happens when we humble our hearts like a little child and say, wow, God, you come down and done all that for me so that I can go free when I die, because that's going to stop beating one day. You know, we all know, we're all 10 out of 10 of us are going to die. But if it's true what I've just told you, how priceless are you?
I don't know, in terms of priceless, I mean,
your eye. How priceless is would you sell one of your eyes for £1 million?
no, I don't think so.
I'll give you 20 billion for both of your eyes, and I'll put some matching glass on ones.
No, that you would say it's maybe one.
But the point is, your soul looks out the windows of these eyes, don't they? You know, and Jesus said, you to despise the value of your eyes compared to the value of your soul. You know, so the complexity of your eye alone is mind-blowing. You know, and your whole body, everything what's going on right now in your body that you're not in control of. Your eyes blinking, your breathing. Mind-blowingly made, you know, and the Bible says you're made in the image of God. You've got a soul, you've got a conscience, and our conscience is guilty before a holy God. So the solution, what I've told you today, is Jesus, you know, but not in a religious way. I'm not asking you to come to church. I don't want your money. It's about your eternity. So consider my motives, you know. We're out here because we love people and we want to share the good news with people. So does that make sense, what I've said?
Yeah, it makes sense, and I suppose that's kind of how I like to view it anyway, that, like, I know it goes against probably what, if you believe in Jesus, like, I don't particularly believe in one God, but I just believe in, like, being moral and doing the right thing with whatever religion that falls under.
I mean, God hates religion. It's all about relationship. Like I said, the analogy of my wife, you know, religion is all about doing good things to try and please, like the judge. Say, come on, judge, I know I'm guilty of this, that and the other, but didn't I help that old lady across the street? Didn't I do this? The judge will say, it's irrelevant to your case. You've got to pay, you know, the crime, you've got to... And that's how we tend to look at it sometimes, you know. So God provided the solution. Jesus himself, God in the flesh, and the one who made every single thing we can see and experience, done all that for you, Zara, so you can go free into eternity, into heaven. Yeah, it's priceless, isn't it? You know, because you're priceless, and that's why he done it, because of his love for you. And I'll leave you with this. The Bible says, for God so loved the world, you, that he gave his only son. That if, it's a big if, because this is weighing in your heart and you think, okay, what do I do with it? If you believe on him, you won't perish. In other words, you won't go to hell. You'll have everlasting life. It's a beautiful relationship thing. Yeah. So, any questions?
No, I think you explained it quite well, and I'll think about it for the rest of my life. Oh.
But don't leave it... sorry, mate. I've needed to... Thank you. So, Zara, don't leave it too long, because you don't know when you're going to die. You know, so there's a sense of urgency. 150,000 people die every single day, and they probably didn't expect it. You know, but value yourself. Look to the cross. Look to what Jesus has done for you. All right. So can I give you this? It's a little.
Of course.
There you go. And all this pandemic stuff has really brought. Suicide rates have gone up higher. You know, marriage, divorces, arguments at home. There's lots of different things. Have you ever had suicidal thoughts?
No, never.
How's it affected you? Would you say in a general, all this pandemic?
I think I think it really brings home that you need to focus on the little things. That, you know, money doesn't buy happiness, and you just got to spend your time with your loved ones, because it's all you've got, really, at the end of the day. So yeah, I think obviously been shielding from grandparents and stuff, but as soon as we're able to see them, it's just nice. So I think it brings it back home, like what's important.
Well, no viruses upstairs. Totally amazing over here. So we'll be praying for you, Zara, and thanks for your time. All right, yeah. Have a nice day. All right, bye-bye. Bye-bye.